think it's okay for somebody to say of themselves, look, I'm not a careerist. I am okay with the fact that I will never be an owner or a senior manager. I want to be paid fairly. I want to do decent work, but I want work to fit neatly in my life and not overwhelm it. And I'm going to look for a job where that is possible. And I don't think we're at the point where we have total honesty on both sides yet.
I have to talk about how just miserable a lot of these people are.
The guys that really cracked me up belong to Group B. They're TickTock Warriors, overtime whores. They don't work to live, they live to work, and at the end of the day, they really got nothing to show for it. I'll never understand how you can be proud of working 4, 5, 6, 7, 84-hour weeks back to back to back, and Bank of America still owns your rims. Yeah, you got an $80,000 truck in the driveway with a boat to fit, but you take 1 week off to enjoy that boat and that truck with your third wife, and you won't be able to afford your style of living anymore. When's the last time you took your kid to the park or gave your wife an O?
You don't want to be in the office for 90 hours a week, then you don't want to succeed. You don't want to have a good life. If you don't want to skip out on your anniversaries, if you don't want to miss all your children's football and basketball games, if you don't want to have problems with your wife because she never sees you, then you don't want to be a man. You don't want to succeed. You don't want to be an American.
And it's like, I think you're just a miserable piece of shit. I think that's really more what's going on because it's not a big surprise that people want to enjoy their lives. You know, people want to, because we only have one. Well, as far as we know, we only have one life and we never know when it's going to come to a close. So people don't want to be locked up in the office perpetually when the chances of them really moving up within the company are practically slim to none as it is, especially in today's job culture.
I hope we can get to the point, because there's still stigma, because the older generations like you and me are looking at, if somebody were to say to us, I only want to work 40 hours, I'm willing to push my boundaries occasionally, but really this is just to, we would be like, well, you're not working here. So, it hasn't normalized yet.
If anything reflects the inherent classism within our society, it's the attitudes of, people who are maybe up there in the Gen X, older in the Gen X generations, obviously the baby boomers who, see the changing job market as like an issue with the younger generations. People don't want to dedicate their whole lives to a company that they can't move up in anyway, because one of the biggest differences between the modern job market now and the modern job market, let's say 30, 40 years ago, really comes down to, well, many things, but technology specifically. People don't have to stay in certain jobs anymore their entire careers because they have more options now. They have the ability to make more choices, and that's really getting underneath the skin of the captains of industries who previously were more effectively able to keep people in the office. Now, they still have tactics like, work-provided healthcare and stuff like that. But as time moves on, their ability to just basically control the working class is slipping due to technological advances.
But I think it's just a question of being honest with oneself. And you're allowed to change your mind as well. Like, I've decided I do want to be a little harder driving, and I do have more ambition than I thought, or less. But I think it's just about honesty.
Another, big issue that older generations don't seem to see is that there are many other things within our societal structure that need to change in order to encourage people to even want to be out in the job market in the first place. Obviously, people need to be paid more. They need to have better benefits. But also our education system needs to change. People are going to school and more, if it's not in the traditional fields like medicine or engineering or law or something where you really, really need to know that you have a formal background in it, more and more people can start their own websites. They can start their own companies for things. They have the ability to build teams, maybe people who are all the way overseas who can develop different types of stuff for them. We live in a much more interconnected world, and our education system really doesn't prepare people for that. So if corporate America wants more people to work within it, they're going to have to help to adjust our education system on top of provide people with better pay and better benefits. Let's get serious. Millennials, Gen Z, continue to fight, continue to push the country forward, and let's continue to do what we can and do what we must to change the work culture in our country, because it's possible and it is very much needed.